Do the Giants know that the market is dropping? I have a very plausible theory that we're about to get into right here on Locked On Giants.
You are Locked On Giants, your daily San Francisco Giants podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, thanks to you, the #1 sports podcast network. On the show, we provide daily episodes Monday through Friday talking about the San Francisco Giants in a way that combines passion, analytics with the eye test, and a little bit of fun. I'm from the Bay Area, but I live in Sacramento now, and I host a show at Sacktown Sports 1140, the Allen Styles Show. Be sure to check that out, as well as emceeing Sacramento Rivercast games. All in all, I'm lucky enough to cover a team I've been a fan of all my life. Today, we are discussing whether or not the Giants know something going on with the market because a lot of players haven't signed yet, their interest in infielder Nico Hoerner, and last but not least, Logan Webb to pitch in the World Baseball Classic. How do you feel? Does that make you uncomfortable as a fan? Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Well, happy Friday to everyone. And if you're listening or watching this on the weekend, happy Saturday or Sunday to you. I got to change my intro because right now we are doing 3 days a week. We're going to do that until the beginning of February. Then we'll go back to every single day. So I'm kind of waiting it out, as I've talked about before, if a move happens, if a move doesn't happen. So I saw the interest come through from Nico Hoerner, was waiting to see if a move happened, and that leads us right into the first segment of the day. What's going on now? What's going on? And is there something going on with the market specifically that the Giants know about? So I did some research last night on some of the other signings, okay? Some of the other big signings in the past. When Juan Soto signed, that was December 11th. Today is the 19th. So Juan Soto signed a little over a week ago, a year ago, but I use that to say, okay, now we're getting a little bit deeper into December here. I looked up Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge signed December 7th when he decided to go back to the Yankees. Now let's think about some of the players that have signed already. The Blue Jays are just signing everyone. They're extremely thirsty because they're coming off a World Series loss, and they're trying to get that taste out of their mouth. It's like they broke up with their significant other, so they're trying to date someone else immediately. Hey, let's just forget about what happened and how we had a chance to beat the juggernaut Dodgers. Let's just forget about that and spend a bunch of money, right? Let's just do that. So that's what the Blue Jays have been doing. Then you have Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber did sign already, but Kyle Schwarber went back to his original team. So, of course, some other names have signed, but the Blue Jays are basically signing everyone because they're trying to get a bad taste out of their mouth, and a lot of players are returning back to the teams that they were already on. So we look at the players that are still out there. Framber Valdez, who was supposed to be the biggest name on the market as far as the pitchers are concerned. Ranger Suárez, also still a free agent. That was probably the second biggest name as far as the pitchers are concerned. Now let's talk about the position players. You have Kyle Tucker, who was the biggest name going into this offseason. And besides that, you have Bo Bichette and Cody Bellinger. Now, what came out about Bo Bichette was pretty interesting a couple days ago. Out of nowhere, right? Out of nowhere, we get a report that says Bo Bichette says he's okay to play second base, right? The actual report was Bo Bichette is letting teams know that he's okay to play second base. Now, why would he say that? If Bo Bichette was on track to get his projection, and maybe I'm projecting, but if Bo Bichette was on track to get his projected contract, AAV years, all of that, why would Bo Bichette and his team come out and say, hey, Bo is okay to play second base? Why is he telling players or telling teams, I'm okay to play second base? Why would he do that? Why would that report come out? I can think of one reason. That contract doesn't look the way he wants it to look, or there aren't as many teams as he thought, and he wants to expand the amount of teams that could be interested. I know a team that did check in on Bo Bichette when it came out that he played second base in the World Series, and there might be a thought process that he would play second. That's the San Francisco Giants. Now, I'm not saying Bo Bichette put this out to say, hey, Giants, I'm willing to play for you. I'm saying Bo Bichette put this out to tell multiple teams, hey, I'm willing to play second for you. So you have that going on. As I mentioned, even with Cody Bellinger and his agent Scott Boras with his poems and soliloquies and riddles, he's still not signed. Then you have Kyle Tucker, who was the biggest name with the biggest projected contract for a position player, and he's still not signed. And as I mentioned, all of these big names, whether it's Juan Soto or Aaron Judge, they had all already signed. Now, Kyle Tucker is not as big as Juan Soto and not as big as Aaron Judge, but relatively speaking, this is my thought process and this is my theory. I think the Giants do have interest in a lot of these guys. As they've noted, I think the Giants are not gung-ho on getting one of these guys, and the Giants are willing to wait to see how low can you go, just like we're playing limbo. How low is this market going to go to where we feel comfortable? If it doesn't drop enough, then fine. We're okay with what we got going on and we'll go from there. But the fact that these guys haven't signed yet, and when free agency opened, I know baseball is different and free agents don't normally fly off the shelves the same way they do in basketball. But the fact that they're still not signed, I believe is a very good sign for the Giants and other teams that may have a level of interest, but they're not as the kids say, thirsty as the Blue Jays to try to get something done and wash that bad taste of a World Series loss out of your mouth. Well, I'm talking about the 3 years. The Giants, they don't know how that feels. So that's where I think this thing is at right now. And teams like the Giants are just going to wait it out and see. If you want to go ahead and pay Kyle Tucker this money, go ahead. Who's stopping you, right? I don't think there's a huge bidding war going on right now with Kyle Tucker or any of these guys. That's just my theory. Because if there's a bidding war, you sit there and you go back and forth to these teams and you make sure at whatever point you get your number or projection, you lock that in. And again, we saw Kyle Schwarber did get his projection. I think he got more than his projection, but again, went back to his current team. So I think that's a little bit different when there's familiarity there and things like that. So that's my working theory on this. Now, of course, as I'm dropping this Friday morning, somebody will get signed over the weekend, and that's okay. But as of right now, it still necessarily wouldn't change my theory unless we see Kyle Tucker blow his AAV out of the water. I was talking to someone close within the baseball world, and they threw out there, is there a world where some of these guys, if they don't get their number, do they do a one-year deal somewhere, try to get their value right, and then hit free agency, which feels crazy, right? Kind of like prove-it deals and things like that. When it comes to Kyle Tucker, he didn't have the greatest season based on his standards, right? I know Cubs fans weren't thrilled with him throughout a lot of the season, and Bo Bichette had those injuries, had to come back. That's why he ended up playing second. So I don't think all these guys are going to end up taking prove-it deals, but it is a bit interesting. We're looking at 2 weeks ago when Aaron Judge signed, December 7th, a couple years ago, and December 11th when Juan Soto signed. Not as big as those guys, and you do have two examples there. You have Aaron Judge going back to his current team, or the team that he was on, and you have Juan Soto going to a different team. So Juan Soto took a little bit longer and he went to a different team, whereas Aaron Judge, he signed early December. He went back to the same team, but both those guys at this time had already signed. So that's just my working theory. Maybe it's a little bit of copium, if you will, to make me feel better that the Giants haven't made a move and that they're still holding out to make a move. But to me, the silence is a good thing. Well, we know that the Giants want to explore their trade options, and we know that they want to explore that interest with infielder Nico Hoerner. Let's talk about it on the other side. More Locked On Giants coming up. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams for the first time ever, it's going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part. That's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real advantage when it comes to snagging seats. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts power back in your hands. It makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. You pull up the app, and the layout makes it so simple simple to scroll through matchups and compare seat views. Alerts for teams and matches make it easy to grab tickets the moment they drop instead of missing out. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Game Time. I have to tell y'all about my favorite jeans. My doers. Seriously, they've changed my life. Right now, I'm wearing the Performance Denim Slim Straight, and I cannot get over how comfortable these jeans are. I've been reaching for my doers for everything, running errands, grabbing dinner with friends, even headed to the ballpark because they look great and feel even better. I actually just wore them to my holiday party, and they were a smash hit. They're extremely comfortable, and here's the thing. Doer jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim, so you can actually move in them. They're also antibacterial, which means they stay fresh longer, wear more, wash less. And they're made with Cool Max technology that helps regulate body temperature and wick moisture. So you stay cool and comfortable as the day changes. Honestly, they feel as stretchy as my favorite joggers, but look like I'm dressed to go out on the town or to a holiday party. Doer is all about combining classic jeanswear style with athletic level comfort and performance. It's the best of both worlds. They actually pioneered the original performance denim, blending technical innovation with everyday clothing that looks sharp and feels incredible. Simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without sacrificing style. Once you try them, they'll be your go-to pair. Trust me, and if you're in San Francisco, check out Doer's store at 567 Hayes Street. Pick up a pair for yourself or grab one as an amazing holiday gift. Mention my promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or shop online at shopdoer.com/lockedonsf for that same 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/lockedonsf. Your new favorite jeans are waiting. Okay, second segment, and this is about second baseman Nico Hoerner. This is from Susan Slusser, who says that the Giants have interest in Nico Hoerner. He's among one of the players that they're eyeing, and they're eyeing a lot. Second base this is what Susan writes, second base is an area the Giants might look to add to this winter, but it's a secondary pursuit after starting pitching and perhaps upgrading the outfield. Should the Giants fail to get a significant outfield bat, second base becomes a spot where Buster Posey and Zach Manassian can inject a little more offense as they've scoured the free agent and trade markets for targets, including Brendan Donovan, Ketel Marte, and Brandon Lau. There's also an intriguing possibility with local roots. The Chronicle has learned the Giants have checked in on former Stanford shortstop Nico Hoerner, who's from Oakland. Shout out Oakland. Hoerner is in the final year of his contract before free agency and is a popular trade target for teams, especially with the Cubs connected to Alex Bregman, Eugenio Suárez, while the Diamondbacks reportedly have made Marte available. A 32-year-old, 3-time All-Star, Marte is signed for another 6 years, and the team has said a deal is unlikely. Arizona has been connected to Lau, however, and there has been speculation the Rays and D-backs could pull off a second base swap. Hoerner, too, can play almost anywhere, but since moving from shortstop to primarily second base in 2023, he's won 2 Gold Gloves. He's also led the Cubs in B-WAR last year at 6.2, hitting .297 with 29 steals, so he's not coming cheap even for one season. For the defense prioritizing Giants, though, he might be the best fit, particularly if the team can't corral a standout outfielder. He's 28, and with his Bay Area ties, could be an excellent candidate for a contract extension if acquired. So that's what Susan writes. She goes on to talk about Brandon Donovan, who we've talked about before. Yeah, you know, what's interesting to me is the whole idea of if they can't get an outfielder. I don't want to get on my soapbox again, but it is somewhat in the Giants' control. Again, these guys haven't signed already. This isn't Juan Soto. This isn't Bryce Harper from however many years ago. This isn't Shohei. This isn't Aaron Judge. I think the silence is speaking volume. So the way it's worded, like the Giants can't get these players, I just don't think it's the same as in years past where players have chosen other teams. We haven't seen that quite yet because these outfielders haven't signed. So we don't know anything, right? Even the smaller names, they haven't signed unless they've just gone back to their current team. So I think it's less about whether they can corral to say what Susan said, corral an outfielder or how much they're willing to pay. That's what it always comes back to. I think the other piece of this is, do you believe in Casey Schmitt or not? Right. If I'm Casey Schmitt, I get it as part of the game. And, your name is going to be thrown around in trades and whether or not you're going to start. But they've told us that they do believe in the infielders and they want that growth. But Susan, who of course is plugged in, is saying if they don't get an outfielder, then they're going to look to upgrade second base. And Casey Schmitt is probably looking around thinking, why has it got to be my position? I want an opportunity. So yeah, I'm less thinking about it like, oh my goodness, the Giants are going to miss out on guys like they missed out in years past. And here's the difference. When the Giants have missed out in years past, it wasn't about money. Right? Or I guess reportedly, allegedly, the Giants offered a certain amount of money, but it didn't make a difference because these players chose other destinations. If they miss out because they didn't want to pay, there's a difference between missing out and getting priced out. Right? The Giants didn't miss out on Cody Ponce. They got priced out. The Giants didn't miss out on Tyler Rogers. They got priced out. To me, there's a difference. So it's not about whether or not they can get an outfielder. It's whether or not they want to pay these outfield prices, because right now it kind of seems like maybe some of these teams don't want to pay Kyle Tucker for 10 years and Cody Bellinger for 6-7 years. Maybe not, because they haven't done it yet. Now, again, like I said, this is being recorded on a Friday. So if something happens over the weekend or later in the night, hey, it is what it is. But as of right now, as I'm recording this, nobody has signed yet. So yeah, that's just, I guess it's semantics. And again, they're putting out the information in a specific way that they want it put out. But as far as Nico Hoerner is concerned, oh my goodness, I would love to get a local guy back. Shout out Head Royce. That's where he went to high school. I know some people that went to Head Royce. For his career, he is at 282. All right, 378 runs, 278 RBIs, 131 stolen bases, 340 on base percentage, 384 slugging, 723 OPS. And he stole 29 bases, by the way, last season. That to me is a standout. So he's at 297, as Susan mentioned, only 7 home runs, 89 runs, 61 RBIs, 21 stolen bases. I love that. He obviously, he actually looks like 19th in MVP voting. So, I mean, that's awesome. He's a 2-time Gold Glover. He's 28 years old. He'll be 29 in May. So I'm definitely interested. Only 1 year, though. Maybe you convince him to stay because he is a local guy. Not sure what that would cost. Maybe that price tag. I think he's around the same age as Brandon Donovan. It looks like, from my perspective, Brandon Donovan has that all-star nod to him more recently. Nico Hoerner has kind of been a bigger name in the grand scheme of things for a longer period of time. So it depends what direction the Giants want to go, but I'd definitely be in. I'm not giving up, I don't think, a top 5 prospect for him, not for a year when you don't know if he is going to stay or not, but somebody in that 5 to 10 range and a player, or maybe two prospects in the 15 to 30, 20 to 30 range and a player, I'd be okay with. And I don't necessarily know what the Cubs are trying to do. So if they were interested, if you did 2 prospects, and you could do Casey Schmitt, or you could do 2 prospects in a Christian Koss higher prospect level, and then add Christian Koss. You got to, I know the money and all of that, but they find ways to make it work. Those are some of the names you would think about. I don't think you move off of Elliot Ramos for 1 year of Nico Hoerner. I'm actually pretty confident that you don't. Some of the right field carousel, Drew Gilberts and guys like that, maybe a lower scale pitching prospect that has thrown in the big leagues before. I'd be interested in something like that, but nothing too crazy for only 1 promise year of 28-year-old Nico Hoerner. But I am interested, and clearly the Giants are interested too. Let's get to the other side. One more segment for you. Are you comfortable with Logan Webb pitching in the World Baseball Classic? I know it's his life, it's his prerogative, but some fans will feel some type of way. Let's talk about it on the other side. More Locked On Giants coming up. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown score, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Thank you for making Locked On Giants your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Giants with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more. All for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedonsfgiants.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. If you're a true diehard Giants fan, the Everydayer All Access tier is built for you. You'll get one-on-one text access with me, all access episodes, an exclusive newsletter, and a 15% discount to the Locked On merch store. Head to lockedonsfgiants.supercast.com to join the Everydayer Club and unlock all access. You can also find the link in the show notes. One more segment for you, and I just wanted to have a little discussion about Logan Webb pitching in the World Baseball Classic. And we kind of knew it was coming. And again, the Chronicle is talking about the joy and the concern. Here it is. Every team has ambivalence when it comes to pitchers joining the World Baseball Classic. For the San Francisco Giants in particular, this spring will bring anxiety as well. As anticipated, Team USA announced Thursday that Logan Webb, a two-time All-Star and the Giants' projected opening day starter, will play in the World Baseball Classic. The U.S. team also announced that Pirates starter Paul Skeens, NL Cy Young Award winner, will be on the staff. The USA team's first exhibition game will be spring against the Giants, March 3rd at Scottsdale Stadium. Last week at the winter meetings in Orlando, Florida, Buster Posey described World Baseball Classic as one of his favorite events, but he added there are definitely some risks associated with it. The Giants, Posey said, would want to work with Team USA manager Mark DeRosa and general manager Michael Hill to determine Webb's usage, and San Francisco is sure to emphasize Webb's huge workload. He has led the league in innings pitched 3 years running. So there are definitely some reason to be excited and some reason for concerns. By the way, I love the World Baseball Classic. There's nothing like it. I'm so glad that it has gained the momentum that it has started to gain over the course of the years that they've put on this event. This is, again, what Posey said. It's a great event, but we've also seen over the years that it can derail some pitchers because there's no way to replicate getting yourself ready for essentially a playoff baseball atmosphere in early March. And he's not wrong, right? But as far as the Giants are concerned and Logan Webb, the main reason I'm not worried about Logan Webb, and I think everyone probably knows where I'm going with this, is the type of pitcher he is, right? Logan Webb, sinker baller, not necessarily a power pitcher. And at this point in time, where he's at in his career, Logan Webb knows his body. So I don't see a situation where Mark DeRosa is saying, stay out there. And Logan Webb, he's not making Logan Webb stay out there, number one. And unlike maybe a high school or college, Logan Webb is not going to be afraid to say, hey, I'm done. You know, so I'm not really worried about it. Of course, there are some risks. It's the same thing we talk about, you know, there's no real pickup baseball. I know there's adult baseball leagues out there, but there's no real pickup baseball the same way as pickup basketball. And if you're a Warrior fan, you remember Klay Thompson. That's how he sustained his second kind of catastrophic injury. He was working out. And honestly, the real story on that is that the Warriors didn't know he was playing pickup. And he ends up going down and he's out for another season. You're worth millions of dollars, and it derailed the Warriors season. But it's kind of part of it, in my opinion. You know, it's just part of the game, and this is something that comes around however many years, and Logan Webb has earned this. And to be honest with you, the way the Giants have not been able to compete and contend, I shouldn't say compete, but contend while Logan Webb has been throwing all these innings the last 3 years. He deserves it. He deserves an opportunity to play some high-level baseball, and maybe it'll put an extra pep in his step when he gets back to the Giants to say, hey, I got a taste of it, and I really need us to get back where we need to be and to get back to playoff baseball. He's seen a little bit of it, and he's balled out in the time that he has had, but nothing like the even years, if you will. So he's earned it. I understand some fans are going to be nervous. I'm not saying I'm not nervous, but the game is the game. I mean, if Paul Skeens is going out there, and I know the Pirates, who knows what they're trying to do, but I mean, these are golden tickets, but you have to allow your guys to do these things. They've earned it. These are opportunities that they'll maybe never get again, depending on how the timing adds up. I mean, Paul Skeens maybe, but some of these other players. So who am I, and who are the organizations to say that you can't do it? Especially, again, if you're the Pirates, it would be nice for Paul Skeens to pitch in games that matter. He hasn't since he left college. And the Giants, same idea with Logan Webb. So I'm good with it. I know some fans are not going to be great with it. But again, he's just going to be sitting down. Logan Webb is super active on social media, and you can just tell that he wants to be a part of the action. And now he gets a chance to be a part of the action. So fine by me, good with me. It is what it is. Life is about risks, but life is about experiences. And Logan Webb, as much as anybody, deserves that experience. Thank you for listening to Locked On Giants. Thank you for watching Locked On Giants. Be sure to follow me on social media at @the_Styles Files, Styles with an I, as well as our official Locked On Giants account. We will talk to you next week. And look, hopefully something happens over the weekend. I would love to talk about it because I don't know, man. This theory that I have, I think it might be working in the Giants' favor. We shall see. We will talk to you then. Stay locked on. Make your Spotify Wrapped. Prove it on social media to secure a free month of our brand new Everydayer Club. Just tag our National Locked On Podcast Network account on any social platform. We'll drop you a code. Be one of the first to join the Everydayer Club to get your favorite show ad-free and exclusive access to the members-only Discord channel. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen Locked On MLB. We will talk to you next week. Until then, peace.